Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit BillHowe.com. And by the Conrad Trebas Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria today backed off on some of the parking fees in Balboa Park. Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. The decision follows weeks of public backlash. As KPBS reporter Alexander Wynn shows us, the parking fees remain unpopular at the city's marquee landmark.
On a warm, sunny Friday afternoon, in front of the San Diego Air and Space Museum.
I would never see it this empty.
It's a direct result of the paid parking.
The paid parking went into effect at Balboa Park last month. Residents, museums, and cultural institutions at the park have been vocal in opposing it, which is why San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria today increased the number of free lots for city residents. In a statement, he says, this change will reduce revenue, and I have received commitment from the city council president as well as other council members to identify other service level reductions in order to keep the budget balanced. 7 of the park's 12 lots will be free to residents. Non-residents will still have to pay the fee. San Diego Air and Space Museum President and CEO James Kittredge says that's not enough.
Bottom line is there should be free parking everywhere in Balboa Park, as there always has been in the entire 150-plus year history of the park. This is about access, and it's about the importance of Balboa Park to our community, to the country, to the world.
Spring Valley resident Antonio DaCosta, however, thinks it's a step in the right direction, especially because of the city's budget deficit.
I think there's a way to maybe perhaps do it where they charge tourism and not the people who live here, such as the residents and whatnot.
He paid $10 in parking to accompany his son to the museum on his classroom field trip today. San Diego resident Chris Redd blames the park's low attendance today on the parking fees. He also feels making more free parking available is the right move.
I would never have seen so many open parking spaces before. Obviously, fewer people are coming to Balboa Park because there's an expense to it that they're not used to.
San Diego City Council President Joe LaCava had planned to put a proposal to suspend paid parking for residents on Monday's council agenda. But because of today's announcement, he won't.
And while there is no agenda item, the public will still have the opportunity to address the council at non-agenda public comment.
In addition to more free parking for residents, the paid parking period will also end earlier. It will now end at 6 p.m. instead of 8. The changes will go into effect March 2nd. Alexander Wen, KPBS News.
There have been a few little sprinkles and showers out there, especially over the interior and the mountains during the day. Most of that is behind us. This is going to be a somewhat cool night, but a big variety here. A lot of variance from Mount Laguna, the cold side 35 to San Diego 55 for your overnight low. And there are big waves out there. High surf advisory. The surfers are loving this, but there are some dangers tied to this. Big waves continue into Sunday morning. We'll look at a weather pattern change coming up.
Access denied. San Diego Representative Juan Vargas says he was denied entry into the Otay Mesa Immigrant Detention Center today. As KPBS reporter Andrew Dyer tells us, Vargas says he's concerned about the conditions inside.
Vargas's visit comes a day after LA Taco reported a detainee threw notes wrapped around lotion bottles across 2 fences to activists outside. The notes say they haven't had access to fresh food or fruit since arriving in April. Prior to this, Vargas says he's always been allowed into the facility.
I have every right to be there. Something has changed because each and every other time that I've been here, they've allowed me in and they've allowed me to go each and every place that I've asked to go. So again, I'm extremely disappointed. I think it's a violation of the law, and we'll see them in court.
Federal law allows elected representatives to conduct unannounced inspections as part of their oversight roles. This week, a federal judge ruled for the second time the Trump administration can't enforce a 7-day notice policy for these inspections. Congress is currently negotiating funding for Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. Vargas is critical of Democratic leadership's current funding proposal.
The Democrats have to do a lot more. No, those things are not right. I mean, what we have right now is an invading army. And what they've done is they've, again, trampled on the Constitution, the rights of the people. Now they've even murdered people. So we just can't say, okay, everything's fine, we're just going to give you less money. No, that agency should be dismantled completely.
Back at the detention center, Vargas says the issue of his access to this facility may just end up in court again. In Otay Mesa, Andrew Dyer, KPBS News.
Flu and RSV cases are on the rise. County health officials are enlisting the help of a powerful new tool to keep track of the trends. According to the latest numbers, weekly flu cases are closing in on 2,000, while RSV broke 200 in January. Last month, the county opened a new state-of-the-art wastewater testing lab. Previously, the county sent samples out to partners, which they say slowed down the process. Now they can get results in just 2 weeks.
Public health action needs to happen, we're able to do that faster, which is great because then the hope is to be able to get the results out to the community in a more real-time approach.
Soon, the county says it plans to start testing for hard drugs as well to help guide prevention and treatment options. The government's jobs report is delayed until next week, but other new data shows job openings are down and layoffs are up to start the year. Karen Kafa explains what that means for job hunters.
The Labor Department's monthly jobs report would have released Friday if not for the brief partial government shutdown. We will get those numbers on Wednesday, but data from other sources this week points to job seekers having a rough start to 2026. For frustrated job seekers, the problem may not be you. It may be the labor market. Multiple new reports point to more layoffs and fewer openings.
The data actually aligns with what we hear anecdotally, and that is that job seekers are finding more difficult. Longer search times are a fact for many who are looking for work.
A report released Thursday by the outplacement firm Challenger, Gray & Christmas said January layoff announcements were the highest to start a year since 2009, pushed higher by tens of thousands of cuts by UPS and Amazon. Challenger also noted the lowest January hiring numbers since they started tracking in 2009. Payroll firm ADP estimated private sector companies added just 22,000 jobs in January, with growth driven entirely by the education and health services industry. Mark Hamrick, senior economic analyst for Bankrate, says such narrowly concentrated hiring growth isn't the hallmark of a robust economy, despite top-line numbers.
The national data is in aggregate, meaning we're sort of lumping everybody in together in the same pile of numbers. And the reality is that your results may vary.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics released data Thursday showing the estimated number of job openings at the end of December sank to the lowest level since September 2020 during the pandemic. The data adding up to more confirmation that the low hire, low fire labor market has carried into 2026. While the Challenger, Gray & Christmas report said it was difficult to discern the impact of AI on January layoffs, they did say that the market is rewarding companies that are talking about AI. That may lead to more AI investment at the expense of new hiring. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
The city of San Diego's cannabis tax is falling short of expectations to the tune of $1.5 million. The city council raised the cannabis tax to 10% back in March to bring in more revenue. The tax is stacked on top of sales tax and a 15% state excise tax on cannabis. This means for customers, a product that costs $30 on the shelf could end up costing more than $40 at checkout in San Diego. Workers say that's changing where people shop, often pushing them to the illegal market.
You have to get lab tested results. There's a lot of infrastructure, the licensing fees that makes those prices go higher. And then you add tax increases, it just pushes them away to the black market. Like I said, it's harder to keep them in the legal market where we know exactly what goes into every single product. So it's a public safety issue.
Walgreens told our media partner KGTV since the tax increase, sales have dropped at their San Diego City locations, while stores in Chula Vista, Lemon Grove, and La Mesa are seeing stronger business.
I'm Jeff Bennett. Tonight on the News Hour, the U.S. holds high-stakes talks with Iran on the fate of its nuclear program. That's at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
Well, this weekend, all eyes are on Levi Stadium in Santa Clara as the Super Bowl is set to take off on Sunday. For as much attention the game itself is getting, the halftime show may have it beat. Puerto Rican megastar Bad Bunny got the nod back in September, a selection that was met with both excitement and with outrage. Michael Yoshida reports.
I just want people to have fun. There's gonna be, it's gonna be a huge party.
A performance the whole world will be watching. Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny is one of the most popular recording artists across the globe, with an astounding 19.8 billion streams on Spotify last year alone. Still, not everyone is a fan of his selection as Super Bowl halftime performer.
I never heard of him. I don't know who he is. I don't know why they're doing it. It's like crazy.
Bad Bunny has been a lightning rod for conservative criticism after speaking out against the Trump administration's immigration enforcement policies, with the Spanish language singer even going as far as excluding the continental U.S. from his last tour over fears that ICE could possibly raid the concert venues. Despite the outrage from some on the right, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell is standing by the decision.
This platform is used to unite people and to be able to bring people together with their creativity, with their talents, and to be able to use this moment to do that. And I think artists in the past have done that. I think Bad Bunny understands that, and I think he'll have a great performance.
Analysts say the decision to hand the mic over to Bad Bunny is an easy one.
Commercially, he makes a lot of sense. He is a good business decision. We know that Bad Bunny brings in viewers and listeners, and there's a whole lot of people that are going to be watching.
And according to Bad Bunny, audiences only need to worry about one thing.
It's going to be fun, and it's going to be easy, and people only have to worry about dance.
I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
The 25th Olympic Winter Games are just beginning, but it's been a rocky start for famed alpine ski racer Lindsey Vonn. She ruptured her ACL just 1 week before the games began. Still, Vonn says she will compete in her 5th games. Mandy Gaither talks to a Team USA physician about how Olympians push through their injuries.
For many athletes, it could be a season-ending injury. But 3-time Olympic medalist Lindsey Vonn posted on social media this week that she's not giving up, preparing for her 5th games, despite recently rupturing her ACL, an important knee ligament.
Whether it's running or jumping or skiing, it's very important for maintaining stability of the whole lower extremity, particularly of the knee.
Dr. Timothy Miller with the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is also a volunteer physician for Team USA. He says athletes tend to have a higher pain tolerance and typically have stronger lower bodies from the hips down to the feet, and that's a key role in maintaining stability when there's an ACL tear. He says an athlete with this injury will have to rely on strength and skill.
Meaning strength of your quadriceps muscles, strength of your hamstring muscles, strength of your hip abductor muscles, and your hip external rotators. All those work in concert with each other to maintain that stability when that ligament has been damaged.
Miller says a brace can be used to add stability, but that doesn't make up for not having a functional ACL. He says an injured athlete's mental game can also be impacted.
Certainly can affect your ability to feel confident, particularly with high velocity sports or cutting sports.
But with elite athletes like Vonn, Miller says skills are developed over years of training, so they have strength, stability, and endurance to some extent to compensate for the injury. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
San Diego Pride is known for its parade and festival held each year in July. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen says the organization is now planning its first ever fashion show.
AP Sanyal first got into fashion after he moved to San Diego in 2017. He started making looks for himself when he'd go out to the bars in Hillcrest.
I just rented out like a room in somebody's house, and I bought like tulle, and I literally hand sewed some stupid little like organza like capelet thing, and that's kind of how I started.
Sanyal is one of 5 local designers who will be showcasing their work at Fabric of Pride, the first ever fashion show fundraiser for San Diego Pride. Much of his work has been inspired by cosplay.
I tend to gravitate towards dramatic silhouettes. I like something that has a little bit more of a shock factor. But I think this collection, I'm kind of reining that back and making something a little bit more delicate with strong silhouettes and a lot more feminine for something I do. I want to celebrate the fact that we can be feminine, but we can also be powerful as well. And so I think you can use fashion to show your strength and show that your community has strength.
Queer people have always used fashion as a way to push back, as a way to defy.
Amber St. James is San Diego Pride's programs coordinator and producer of the event.
We wanted to introduce another way for folks to be able to engage with us in a philanthropic way and recognize that the fashion world was an untapped market that we personally hadn't gotten involved in. And we're like, well, we know so many very fashionable queer people. I'm sure all of us know a designer or a stylist or, that one friend that you're like, I'm gonna ask them to help me with my closet, right?
Fabric of Pride will take place on March 28th at the U.S. Grant Hotel. Proceeds will go towards San Diego Pride's year-round programming and philanthropy that supports the LGBTQ+ community. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
A San Diego MTS employee is contributing to the community in a new way. The agency chose local artist and staff member Ibn Edwards to design the Pronto card for this year's Black History Month. KPBS arts reporter Audie McAfee connected with the artist about what this opportunity means to him and the community.
It's a message. These messages are very important.
Ibn Edwards started with the San Diego Metropolitan Transit System, or MTS, 20 years ago. He began as a service worker, maintaining stations and vehicles. Today, he's a service manager, and now an artist for the agency. He says being chosen to design a Pronto card during the 50th year of Black History Month is especially meaningful after working behind the scenes for so long. The moment is even more powerful because of the place and history behind it.
And here we are, full circle, in front of my dad's art at 62nd in the same neighborhood that I grew up. It's like a full circle moment for me.
Ibn's father is Eddie Edwards, a prominent artist and cultural pioneer in Encanto. Eddie came to San Diego from Louisiana in the 1950s to expand his art career. Nearly 20 years later, he opened Encanto's first Black cultural center. Ibn says his father's art and mission centered on uplifting the community.
It was all about portraying a reflection of yourself, a reflection of greatness. He was always talking about, if you're going to be something, be inspiring, be the best at what you're going to be. Whatever you're going to be the best fireman, be the best police officer, be the best at whatever you're going to do, just strive for greatness.
His father's art became part of San Diego's art revitalization efforts that began in the 1980s. Eddie designed 24 panels depicting scenes from Encanto's history and culture. They appear on light posts along 62nd to 69th Streets, each incorporating a rainbow. Ibn says that sense of connection was very important to his father.
He was all about inclusion, not exclusion, bringing everyone together. And that's what helps this community grow and thrive the way it is now. There's so many unsung heroes that we may not even know about, but the rainbow signifies that very togetherness of community.
Ibn wanted that same feeling to shine through in his Pronto card design. A Pronto card is a reloadable fare pass used on MTS buses and trolleys. On the small 2x3-inch canvas, colorful portraits of historical figures like Rosa Parks, Jimi Hendrix, and Martin Luther King Jr., along with Ibn's dad, represent the duality of Black history.
When you look at this card, I wanted to incite your imagination, like, who are these people? What is this all about? These are like the heroes of the past. Like my daughter said it best. She's like, this looks like the Avengers right here. So these are like the Black Avengers, and this is just a fraction of the Black Avengers that's contributed to the community.
MTS selected Ibn as part of their commemorative card program, which began in 2023. Previous artists include Mr. B Baby and Koi Sun, who were chosen for other heritage months. In a press release, MTS board chair Monica Montgomery Stepp said, "The program honors the stories of diverse communities that make up the wider San Diego region through a physical memento they can carry with them." MTS has incorporated public art projects into the transit system since the 1980s. When Ibn joined the agency, he hoped to become an artist, not just a facilitator.
I was like, man, I hope they give me the opportunity to do this, because prepping these murals and seeing these wonderful artists do their thing, it was like I had to sit back and just watch. And I'm so glad that management and gave me the opportunity, and then especially to represent my father on such a platform.
As an MTS employee, Eben says he sees how public transportation connects communities.
You have access to hospitals, you have access to education. We hit all of the major universities in San Diego. That is the importance of public transportation, not just for the Black community, for all communities together. And so that's something that leadership has done, is bring art back into the community and having a reflection of greatness within our community.
Eben says that without the foundation planted by Encanto, he wouldn't be where he is today.
This community is thriving with nutrients and wealth and good people, and the land is full of possibilities to grow and build on.
The limited edition Pronto is available while supplies last at select transit stops. A list of locations is at sdmts.com. Audie McAfee, KPBS News.
Well, we were dealing with some spotty showers earlier today in some parts of the mountains off to the east. They are generally fading. We're going to be warmer and drier this weekend. And, you know, we haven't had any significant precipitation for a few weeks now, going on a month in some areas here in Southern California. But a pattern change is going to be underway. Changes for the wetter into mid-February. We're going to begin to see that change later next week. It'll be more established after that. Tonight, intermittent clouds, 55 for the coast and for San Diego itself, and it will be warmer and drier Saturday. There's your big ridge of high pressure, dry and a bit warmer out there across the region. By the numbers, we're back up to around 72 in Escondido, 75 Ramona. Not off the charts warm, not as warm as we were early in the week, but warmer than we were on Friday. 80, though, for Borrego Springs. That's a warm spot. Mount Laguna will be around 50, and we'll begin to see a little more shower activity on Sunday way to our north, still well north of the Bay Area of San Francisco, north of I-80, and a couple of showers will break out southeast of Tucson. But for us, we're still kind of dry. We will be dry with warm weather for Sunday. And until 6 a.m. Sunday morning, there will be these continual big waves out there. High surf advisory for the Orange County, Los Angeles County, and San Diego County coastlines here. So just beware of that. Surfers love this stuff, but there are some dangers tied to that. The dry stretch will end into mid-February with the return of some rain. A big dip in the jet stream will return off the west coast of the U.S. here after a long period of ridge of high pressure that had been in control. So the ridginess gives way to a big trough. That's going to send some moisture back into the neighborhood, and we can use some of that here as we get into the final third or so of the wet season coming up. So for the coast here, you can see we're not quite committing to rain yet, but there will be an increase in cloud cover Tuesday and Wednesday. We're getting closer. There will be some patchy fog in the morning, Saturday morning, by the way. But temperatures rise back up to the mid-70s on Sunday. And then more clouds Tuesday, Wednesday, and into the midweek. The inland areas here, you're going to see a warm-up into Sunday and then a cool-down with clouds returning Tuesday and Wednesday with that onshore flow returning. It's kind of the first step into something like a pattern change. In the mountains here, we're going to be dealing with a rise to the low 50s and then certainly a cool-down to the 40s with a lot of clouds, low clouds, and maybe even a few sprinkles around. The pattern change is going to become more established into next week. And in the deserts, the area's a little more resistant to rainfall. We warm up into the low 80s for the next few days. 83 on Monday, maybe the warmest. We'll lose probably 10 degrees coming into Tuesday, and you're going to notice more cloud cover there as well. So the pattern change is almost here. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Cornish for KPBS News.
KPBS cinema junkie Beth Accomando has two movie recommendations for you. One is a new animated film from Japan called Scarlet, featuring a sword-wielding princess bent on revenge. The other is the first film to win the Academy Award for Best Picture.
I love that Japanese anime has drawn from Frankenstein, the Count of Monte Cristo, and Shakespeare.
Romeo, our love can never be.
Turning these Western literary works into something uniquely Japanese. The latest anime to explore Shakespeare's influence is Scarlet, a fantastical reimagining of Hamlet. Hamlet has inspired the American animated film The Lion King, as well as the Canadian comedy Strange Brew.
How's it going, eh? Welcome to our movie, eh?
In Scarlet, a princess witnesses her father's execution and vows revenge on her treacherous uncle. When she fails and is poisoned, she's transported to the other lands, a purgatory-like afterlife. The twist to the Hamlet plot is that director Mamoru Hosoda shifts the protagonist's journey from rage and revenge toward finding meaning and new purpose. At a time when so much in our world seems motivated by hate, Scarlet is challenged to break the cycle of violence and trauma and consider kindness and forgiveness as an alternative. This stunningly animated and audaciously inspired retelling of Hamlet demands the big screen where its epic scale can be fully appreciated. On February 9th, Silent Movie Mondays continue at the Balboa Theater with the 1927 classic, Wings. Director William Wellman boldly pushed the technology of the young medium to new heights with a story about a romantic triangle on the ground and World War I fighter pilots in the air. The film stars It Girl Clara Bow, who wins the attention of two men. Organist Russ Peck will provide the live score to bring the intense dogfights to vivid life. This is the best way to enjoy a silent film because they were never meant to be silent. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Good night.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.